Calling to order the school board meeting for May 13th, 2025. Roll call.
Leah Conover.
Here.
Carlos Avia.
Here.
Jessica Rodonio.
Here.
Adina Hoover.
Here.
Kevin Marin.
Here.
Lauren Zakiri.
Here. Great. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so first off, we've got the action item that we discussed at our last board meeting, suspending policy 2.2:70. The chair will entertain a motion to temporarily suspend board policy 270's procedures for board vacancies and to appoint Angela Steckity to fill the board's vacancy through the April 2027 election. So as you guys, we talked about this at the last board meeting. There is precedent because we were so close to an election and we have a very clear understanding from the community of who's next up. Due to our board resignation, that we can choose to appoint the board member as opposed to going through the interview process that we would normally do when we're not in an election cycle. So the board expressed interest in that. Ange has said that she would love to rejoin the board. Unfortunately, and I think everybody knows this, she's got some health concerns that she's going through right now, so she was unable to attend this evening. However, we can still seat her and we can still appoint her, and when she is able to come to our next meeting, she will do her oath of office. So that is what this is about. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Hoover.
Yes.
Ms. Zakiri.
Yes.
Ms. Rodonio.
Yes.
Mr. Avia.
Yes.
Mr. Marin.
Yes.
Ms. Conover.
Yes. Okay. Motion passes. So moving along to recognition. Who's got that? Go for it.
I don't know where to stand, so.
Right at the podium right here would be perfect.
Here.
Yes.
I'm very loud,
yes.
so I don't know that you need me.
Don't worry,
but
the microphones will catch you also, so you don't have to.
They could probably hear me down the block. Anyway, okay, well, my name's Keisha. Y'all, nice to meet you. I work for a company called SIBME, but this isn't about us. This is about your amazing superintendent. We just run a contest every year that is looking for the most innovative superintendent in each of the states that we work in. And your superintendent was selected as the innovative superintendent of the year in Illinois, which is a pretty big deal. There were 13 districts that nominated their superintendent this year, and he was hands down, our committee was like, this is the guy, we have to go meet him. He's doing amazing work. So I just want to read a couple things that your staff said. They were up to some trouble behind the scenes here nominating you, right? And nobody wants to come forward, so it's just anonymous from the staff, okay? It really was. It was a group effort, multiple people. Okay, so they said, our superintendent has demonstrated a cutting-edge approach to professional learning through the analysis of data and a culture of collaboration. As superintendent, he has fostered a culture of continuous improvement by implementing a variety of effective strategies. He sets clear expectations and goals for both individuals and teams' progress, ensuring that staff members understand our district's vision for growth. Through his leadership, collaboration among teachers has flourished. Professional learning communities have become a cornerstone of our district's success, and he has prioritized investing in our teachers and our students through ongoing professional development for our staff and offering them with relevant training and learning opportunities to enhance their skills and to stay current. He leads by example. He models continuous learning in his own life and in his own role. He's actively participating in learning right alongside teachers and administrators. He gives constructive, actionable feedback. He's always guiding and listening to others. And under his leadership, this district has become a safe space to try new things, where educators are feeling comfortable in trying new approaches and being able to learn from their mistakes for the benefit of our kiddos. His approach has really resulted in impressive results with staff morale increasing significantly. And I hear that your elementary schools in the district achieved a 28-point gain, and your junior high schools as well saw an impressive 30-point increase in your designation report, and that 3 out of your 4 schools advanced from commendable to exemplary with just 1 year under your leadership. And so I don't know about you guys, but this isn't like typical everywhere from a lot of the districts that we work in, and you're very lucky to have the superintendent superintendent. So thank you for everything that you do, and we really appreciate you. And I brought cake, so afterwards, feel free to have some cake anytime.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Keisha, and everything starts with the teachers and the students, and I'm very fortunate to be here. I love our community, our school board's amazing, my administrative team is exceptional, the teachers, the support staff, I love them, they're incredible, and most of all, I love our students and how hard they work. They do the work, and I'm just here to be a partner in that,
Well, let's get a picture.
okay?
You don't like
Keisha?
balloons?
I did that. Get the balloons
I
in
did
that
that.
picture.
Oh, yeah.
I kicked the thing in
Get
there.
the balloons in that picture.
Okay, perfect.
Percent. Closed off.
There it is.
They're super celebratory.
Great. Thank you for everything that you do.
Picture move.
You're not gonna photobomb it? Huh? You're not gonna photobomb it? There it is.
Oh, you gotta get down. Hasn't done it yet.
Real smile.
Okay, board.
I don't know if you want where you want that, but we could add your
Oh, God.
You're good. You're not gonna roll me over.
I love this is my favorite part of my job. I get to come out and recognize awesome people, so.
Close my.
Who's ever Yeti?
I need the board real quick just for a picture from all the members.
Ah, here goes back.
I was moving them out of the way.
All right, I think they're
I
working.
know, I know.
Shannon, they're working again, right?
Just in the interest of catching up on some time, we're gonna go into closed. We're gonna do the motion for closed, but we're gonna grab cake on the way into closed.
Okay,
There you
great.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session to discuss personnel issues, student discipline, superintendent evaluation, and collective bargaining.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Securi?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes?
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes. Motion passes. Let's go cut some cake, Jack.
Oh, okay.
opposed? And we're going to kick this off with the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna get that one day. I'm gonna get the voice vote one right one day.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Anyone second it?
No one second.
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's try it again. We got another one, right? We're on a roll.
Let's play again.
Doing great.
Okay, moving along to the public comment portion of the meeting. So, welcome. Public comment is a time for the community to address the board with comments and questions. Each community member addressing the board has 5 minutes. Once you've been notified your time is up, kindly step away from the podium. Public comment will be for 30 minutes with no more than each subject lasting 20 minutes. Please understand this is not an engagement time. The board will consider your comments in its decision, and for those comments or questions requiring a follow-up response, the board president or superintendent will follow up. And we have one public comment. Judy Wilson?
Good evening. Good evening. My name's Judy Wilson. I live on Des Moines Street, and this fall I will have lived here in the district 51 years. I'm vested in the community, and I'm vested in the school district. I've had 4 children graduate from District 201, and now I have a grandson attending. I also served on the school board for 12 years, so I do appreciate everyone's contributions. I noticed the TIF monies were being discussed tonight, and that may be because I had submitted a recent FOIA request inquiring how the last 10 years of TIF money was spent and on what repairs at Manning. I was shocked to see that nothing had been repaired or any money used for anything at Manning. $1,092,625.86 sitting there in a fund untouched. During both referendums, the board was still sitting on the money and worried with the rest of the public about our children wearing coats in the wintertime at Manning. And there was money that could have fixed, repaired, whichever the choice was. And I'm pretty sure a new boiler wouldn't be $1 million. You could have brought that amount to the table with a referendum. We have this much to contribute. It's a lot easier for the public to take if you have something to offer instead of saying, we don't have anything to put on the table, but we need you to do A, B, and C, and D for a referendum. I wanted to comment also on the listening sessions. You have 2 scheduled for Manning School where there is no live stream. And those who can't come, they won't know what was discussed because there's no live stream. And these are just some of the reasons that public trust is lost.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Personnel recommendations, Ross Crane, Westmont High School French teacher, .8, and academic support, .2. Zachary Lessentine, Westmont Junior High School Special Education. Carol Saba, Elementary Summer School. Robert Locklear, Elementary Summer School. Stephen Davis, Elementary Summer School Teacher's Assistant. Kelly Ivanelli, Elementary Summer School Teacher's Assistant. Rebecca Hamilton, Elementary Summer School Teacher's Assistant. Sarah Goodpaster, Elementary Summer School Teacher's Assistant. And Caleb Sika, Temporary Summer Crew Maintenance and Grounds. Number 2, the approval of the April 2025 expenditure report. Number 3, ratification of the April 2025 regular payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Zakiri?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Could I just take a moment? Zach happens to be here. Would you approach us for a moment? We are very excited. We went through a pretty extensive process, and he was our #1 candidate for the position, far and away. He's got a great demeanor, great experience, and I'd just like him to introduce himself briefly.
Yeah.
I'm Zach Lessentine. I didn't want to interrupt. It's a tough last name. It's okay.
I'm a former Musinski, so I get it.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Everybody I've spoken to at the district has been great. I live in Westmont as well, so I'm really, really excited to have an impact on the community that I live in. So thank you again.
Welcome.
Thank you. We're excited to have you, Zach.
Okie dokie, moving right along for information and discussion. Number 1, our proposed student handbook revisions reading.
Good evening. My name is Adam Cordelucci. I'm assistant principal and member of the handbook committee. I just wanted to give the board and administration an update on where we're at with the handbook. A little background, right about this time, we would meet as a committee and we would recommend amendments and changes to the handbook. We would have a committee of students, parents, teachers from all representing the buildings that we work in. At this time, we don't have any recommended changes because we are making some major changes to the handbook. We have solicited the IPA's Model Student Handbook, which was presented, I believe, in your notes over there. A little bit about the model handbook. It is put together by lawyers from the Illinois Principals Association, and what it has is all the language of the Illinois mandates that are required in our handbooks, and put in a user-friendly form that school districts can use to present to the community for the handbooks. So what we're doing is we're taking the common language that is used in all of our schools, and we're making a district handbook for easy access, a one-stop shop where all the coinciding mandates that we have will be there. All right, and then each school will have smaller handbooks within the larger handbook, and we will have the necessary information pertaining to those schools. So when parents and students are looking for the information, they'll have one area to go to and they can hopefully find it, and we will be in compliance with the state regularly. The Model Student Handbook also is updated regularly. When there is a new mandate that may happen anytime throughout the year, we will be able to make that adjustment, present to the board, and get it approved in real-time fashion as well. This will allow us to be in compliant sooner rather than waiting to the end of the school year to report. So our plan is to continue this process the same way before. Right now, some of our assistant principals and principals are requesting just a little more quiet time, if you will, after students let out, so we can meet and put together a handbook that we can be proud of that represents CUSD 201. And then we will meet with our committee of parents and students to explain our changes, solicit recommendations, and then we'll present later this summer. Right?
So if I understand correctly,
yes.
this is going to take our mishmash of 6 handbooks that are all slightly different, that have a lot of overlap, and turn it into one handbook with kind of sections within it for each of those school-specific items, which are the minority.
That is the plan.
Great. And so as a parent with kids in like 4 schools,
Yes.
I don't have to memorize 4 handbooks anymore.
No, you do not.
That's great. I'm also
Things
glad I
that
didn't have kids, but that's awesome. And is there a cost to this?
There is. The model handbook costs $275, and that was split between 5 schools for $55 a piece per school.
Steve, bargain.
Yeah, it's purchased annually. All right, so we will have it for the year that we purchased it, and then we can decide if we need to make adjustments or if we're going to purchase again later.
And if I understand correctly, also, so we would normally do this once a year. We won't do this once a year update. We'll just update as needed. Like here to the board, right?
Yes.
Maybe,
I mean,
possibly.
depending on how many mandates come out and the state requires, I would think that we would still be updating the board around this time every year if there's not many major changes. But also we will consult with the committee to see, you know, as we're always evolving and improving our school district, if there's things that we can change, so. Any other questions? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
We've heard you've done some really good work on leading this committee, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I'll continue.
Yeah.
Right, Shannon, wasn't that what you said?
I did say that.
Moving right along, our, Dr. Gibson, our monthly financial statements for April 2025, please.
All right, hi. Hopefully you have a copy of the presentation, the PowerPoint, that the PDF that was sent in the board packet on board docs. So I don't have display as you do not have the display, as you know. So this is kind of just continuation of the report from last month. So if you do see it, you'll notice the format looks pretty much the same. I'm just dropping in the information and making a few comments on it. So starting with the, this is for the month of April, financial report. I have my fancy schmancy, it's not gonna work here. Oops, it's not gonna work. All right, starting with year-to-date revenues, as we always do. Again, we've got the dials that gives us an indication visually of how we are year-to-date. So I don't really deal with the revenue side with the year-to-date compared to revenues, because that's not as meaningful as expenditures that you look at, expenditures fund balance on the next one. But our actual year-to-date revenues are about 57%. We're expecting about 63 about this time. But again, some of that is due to not having property taxes in, which will be coming in May. So then you look at the local revenues, which again, that's part of the property taxes, which that's down, as I just said. But also you've got state revenues, which are ahead of where we expected. I want to just point out, in this report that they give, this doesn't include federal revenues. And I was thinking about that as I did the report last month. I dug into the details of this program, which I'm really not supposed to do because we don't own it. But I did anyway. And you know, if I had time, could do some modifications to make a federal, you know, it's not a ton of money, but at least it's good to have that information, or at least put those two together. So, but for now, we're really just talking state revenues, since you're getting more of that than you are federal revenues. But federal revenues have been coming in on time as well. They're usually better, more timely than state revenues. But they are higher than projected through April 2025. Just another thing, you know this, but I like to always mention this, the primary revenue sources are local property taxes, and then state funding, and also federal funding. Just those three sources of revenue, just to really make it very, very simple.
Can I ask just a quick question on, are you going to move on to expenditures right now? Or?
Yeah,
just on revenue, real quick. You just said that state and federal revenues are higher than projected.
Through April 2025.
Through April 2025, but that revenue, all revenue is a little lower than projected.
Yes.
And that's obviously because property taxes
right.
are lower than projected.
Right.
And is that because of just the timing of when we receive them, or are they coming in lower than projected?
Yeah, so what we try to do with this model, which is a great model by the company, is at the start of the year, back in July, we create this model and we try to predict when the dollars are going to come in for the whole year, by month.
Right.
Which we have some historical information that helps us project that.
But every year is different.
Yeah. And so instead of receiving property tax dollars, maybe you got them last year in April. I'm not certain of that, but for some reason, I did set it up originally, but I didn't change it either. So yeah, they're coming in May now instead of probably
It's
April.
a timing thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Weren't they late last year also?
Yeah.
They were, weren't they? They were later. I feel like they were expected to be later because of some clerk error or
I know
something.
Cook County was, but this is not Cook County. Cook County was horribly late.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
think
last year?
I think they were late last year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always, you have arguments at the county level too among different agencies where they bicker about whose fault it is. It's always a problem. And we suffer for it. All right, yeah, expenditures. So Expenditures through April are about, I mean, they're less than projected, which again, that's good, but I don't anticipate that to stay the case because we do have, you know, and again, this is our best estimate of, you know, how things are going to come in throughout the year. So I still expect that expenditures are going to catch up with where they should be. So with the first dial, you see we're at about 80% collected versus 83% expected. And then with our salaries and benefits, which, oh, by the way, I want to correct something I said last month, and I apologize. Salaries and benefits are 75% total of our budget. I miscalculated. I said 85% last month, so I apologize for that. I thought something was wrong with my number, but I couldn't fix it in Stride. So I've got a graphic, some words for that at the bottom. Just wanted to make sure I updated that for you. But with salaries and benefits, we are spending at 72%, but we have projected about 82%. So that gap's a little bit bigger than I would have expected, but because we know that we're going to get 4 payments of the summer pays, July, 2 payments for July, and then 2 payments for August that are paid out in June. But I think our projection may have been a little bit low on that, but we should have been at 82%. But I'm still expecting that salaries are going to catch up and be what they should be by the end of the fiscal year. And as you can see, the other benefits are well above what we projected. So that's kind of a red flag we want to look at, because that's probably, I know we have in there the OT and PT, the occupational therapy, physical therapy, as well as the tuition for outplaced students. So that's something I'll be talking about, doing some more digging into before the next meeting, the next presentation. But again, as I said, salaries and benefits cover 75.8% of spending. Salaries at 53%, benefits about 22.4%. And just so you know, even though we're near the end of the year and we kind of cut out our regular spending that you expect the buildings would be making on purchases of supplies and services, but we still have to continue paying salaries, benefits, as well. We pay for building maintenance and grants as well. Next, just fund balances, which is the important thing. You know, I've got the graphic for you again that shows you the trend of fund balances for the fiscal year. We are at the point now in May where we have started to get those taxes in, as I said, in May, and you will see that that trend will be on the upswing in May and June. But monthly monitoring, as we're, one thing I did also want to mention, looking back in the span of chart that we're looking at from July 1 of 2023 through the end of this fiscal year, right? Yeah, will be an increase of $600,000 over that span. So we were gaining, you know, although there's been a pretty good dip increase for last year. This year, you know, we may end up a little bit under, but that'll be offset. It'll be $600,000 in total from last year to the end of this year. So that's also in the written on the side there. But we try to monitor monthly, even though it's a little more difficult with school districts. We don't do it as much as we do in the private sector, but it's good for cash flow management, managing our operations, and also estimating our year-end fund balances. So that's why we do this, and we continue to try to keep you updated of any trends that are coming down the pike. But again, I do want to, you know, just mention that we should expect that these salaries are going to come in, and by the end of the month, we will see, you know, how we really are in terms of budget to actuals. And again, looking at fund balance, because that's really where the board should focus at a high level on a regular basis. So our operating fund is at the end of April, is at $7.9 million, $7.97 million. Operating expenditures are averaging about $2.8 million a month. So we know that with that $7.9 million, you know, that will cover the month of May on the average, but then we'll get those property taxes coming in May. And that will give us a bit of getting us back to where we should be with property tax revenues, about $10 million. So our fund balances will increase by the end of May. Looking at the fund balances on a annual level, again, operating fund balance has gone down to 7.97% because we're spending but not getting that revenue in yet from the property taxes. But we expect the taxes and other revenues to come in over the final 2 months. Again, Jack mentioned earlier, I think in our finance committee meeting, about the 40% goal of annual expenditures. So that's always available. We need that available to allow for unanticipated expenditures, maintenance of quality services without fiscal strain. And when we look at, again, I didn't have a chart for everybody to look at, but the projections, you can see it has, this particular one has that percentage at the bottom. So you can see from one year to the next, to the next, to the next, that, where you are with regards to that 40% board fund balance. And for the FY26 budget that I talked about, it is going to be, you'll see it as at 40%. And then the last couple slides, just the recommendations, which you know this, we regularly review expenditure patterns, identify potential savings, and adjust revenue forecast. This has to be dynamic, and these strategies strengthen the fund balance and support long-term financial objectives. So we do this on a regular basis to make sure we monitor and keep track of where we are, and so we can advise you of our status, and you can make the recommendations as you need. We'll make recommendations, and you can make the decisions as you need to. Any questions?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you again for TIF.
Are you doing the TIF update? Stay up there.
Yeah, the TIF update. So I think we got one a little earlier because we did provide the information to a couple of community members. I don't have a lot to say about it, but I will add that the TIF revenues were, what was it, approved in 2013, and we started receiving revenues from the village in 2015. I want to see the, I'm going to fly through these.
Yeah, could we? Because here's the thing. The TIF meeting, just FYI, was 2 years in one meeting and lasted about 20 minutes.
Well, to even go further back, the TIF committee is what? Fire, police, village, library, and school board, correct? I think it's just those 5, and it only is required to meet once a year. It typically meets in January or February. So this was asked to us, there was a FOIA about the TIF update, and we realized that we haven't been updating. We've been talking about the TIF, maybe because it pretty significantly underperformed where we expected it to be at for the first decade. And the money kind of has dribbled in. But as part of us tightening up our board calendar, we talked about at the agenda meeting, getting this TIF update into kind of this meeting, this May meeting, as a regularly scheduled, because by May, the TIF committee should have met and done an update and responded to last year and talked about how the TIF has been working and operating, and that should be enough time for us to get into it and to be able to talk to the TIF, or be able to speak to what our TIF funds are, and where they sit at each year, and is set up by previous boards that the intention was to hold on to that money until we had enough to do something major, which.
The other thing is, it's 12 years, but $1 million has not been sitting there for 12 years. The great bulk of the money came in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And, we have to have a vision for how we're going to spend money wisely in this district. It was just a few months ago that we had on the ballot potentially tearing down Manning, and it lost by 2 community members' votes. Imagine if we had invested millions of dollars in renovating a building we were about to tear down. Now that we have maybe going in a different direction, it makes more sense at this time to invest the money into that building for renovation. But imagine if we would have spent, and we did not have the money for 12 years, the bulk of it came in the last 2 years. If we had invested that money and then tearing down the building, that would have been a waste of the taxpayer money.
Something like $600,000 just last year alone, right?
Yes.
Something like that. So really up until last year we had
600,000.
I don't know if you know.
400,000.
Yeah.
Do they speak of projections in that meeting? And I know what that means. It's a projection.
They give like a little update.
Yeah.
They give like a little update on what has happened and what they're kind of in talks to of what they can update. But of course, as we know, dealing with real estate,
I know we had that before.
You're allowed to say, yeah.
Ask why they think it hadn't performed and those kind of things. And it's hard to plan money you don't have yet.
So what might be a good idea is for me to get some direction on what specifics you'd like to be covered in an update. Although I'm aware of what you're talking about, and I attended the meeting, so I do have some information. I didn't put that together in a, maybe comprehensive format that you might want, but let me mention this. Since 2015, excuse me, for about 10 years, you've been receiving money from the village. And that money is only, let me get a number here. It's an average of $91,000 a year that you're receiving. So if you're talking building renovations for a school building, that ain't no money. Let me just put it like that. So what we're saying is that, and as you mentioned, the bulk of it has been received over the last few years. So the first payment was $1,500 from the village. 4 years later, it was $26,000. Now, 10 years later, you receive $265,000, $266 to round it up. So the averages have been, last 5 years have been over $100,000, finally, and then over $200,000 this last year. So when you're talking about TIF dollars, and I come from a school district when I retired 2 years ago that had, I think we had 5 or 6 TIFs. So we were doing this on a regular basis, we were tracking, but we weren't getting money like this. This was like, you're in a fortunate situation. Many school districts are not, don't have the situations where they can negotiate with the village and get money. And then once you try to be able to actually be successful with that negotiation, villages are really tight with these TIF dollars. Maybe the closer you get to Chicago, the more tight they are, I don't know. But I did attend the TIF meeting and the JRB, it's called a Joint Review Board meeting. So the JRB meetings, it's typically, we are there in an advisory capacity. We really don't have any authority to make change. We can bind, we can bind together all the taxing bodies and demand that the village do certain things, but they're not required to. Politically, that's a different situation, not my area of expertise. But yeah, the TIF dollars are there, but yeah, accumulating them till you get a nice amount of money, but planning to incorporate it with some other big work to support it. I mean, that's what the plan was, it sounded like, and that's what we're doing. So instead of spending that average of $91,000 a year, instead of saving it and putting it in an interest earning account and get some extra dollars for it, that's the point with this. But yeah, I think just looking at it, wasn't a lot of money to work with, and now you look at it, it's $1,092,000. Yeah, but that's now after it accumulated. So I think you're on the right track, and I think these Joint Review Board meetings are good, and typically they are annual, and you're only going to get that. I mean, you can negotiate more than that, but the law requires only one of them. But what's a good thing to do? We had in my old school district also intergovernmental meetings, and I know you guys have probably a few of those, but some of those can be, doesn't have to be specifically about TIFs, but you could have conversations about what the village is doing with that TIF. Probably more information on that, maybe an update on, or even have the village come to update us on the status of the work being done in that TIF to help increase the value of the TIFs. Because the more the TIF value, the more money you're going to get. So maybe we could incorporate that into a conversation, things like that. So
thank you, Fritz. That was going to be my question. Oh, okay. Like, what can we do about making decisions about understanding it, making decisions about it? Because it seems like we're just kind of on the receiving end and just kind of take what happens. But I don't know if we have any role.
Well, since you've got, I guess maybe you can call it skin in the game, but you got an actively receiving dollars, and what happens in that TIF, affects how much money you get. I think you have a voice,
And probably in those smaller meetings that we were talking about having.
Yeah. I should say we have a voice. I apologize. I'm part of the team.
No, that's good. You are.
We have a voice, so we should use it. Yeah, I think so. And Ron and I will talk about this more, and I know Jack, and we'll start to maybe develop that. I think in a greater capacity.
Yeah, and I think the point of putting it on this meeting is let's start talking about it every year. We should. It has not been something to talk about, right? For any of the previous years because nothing was happening, right? Essentially, so we should talk about it every single year as a board. It is in our best. It is a best practice. We should talk about how much money has come in, how much we're talking, and what the plan is.
Because it's like nothing, or you have something once a year, and then a question is asked about extension of TIFs and things like that. And
I love the idea. I love the idea of someone from the village, whoever presents at that Joint Review Board meeting, coming and presenting the same to us so that now that there does seem to be some type of movement. And yeah, we do have a unique situation that the previous board set up, which is wonderful, in that we are receiving some of the money. That is not the case in the vast majority of districts. They do not receive any of the money.
Well, us 3 years ago, that was us. So.
Yeah, so they don't, right? So receiving 25% of the portion, so that we could use it and potentially use it for Manning, knowing that that was our oldest location even back then, is a great thing. So let's talk about it every year. So thank you.
Welcome.
Any other TIF questions? Okay, board meeting topic calendar. So we talked about this a little bit at our last board meeting, and I think you printout.
I gave everyone a printout, and I updated it from today, even in Board Docs.
Awesome.
Board Docs should match this one, so it's much easier to read than that.
So we talked about this a little bit at the last board, or 2 board meetings ago, when we approved our school board meeting calendar, which we had to approve to get on the books, is looking at our meetings in a little bit more detail, potentially where are they happening, what committee meetings can we conjoin or make sense, because I think that the consensus among the board and the community is that conjoining our regular board meetings with our committee meetings has been more successful than previous years, which is wonderful. We've gotten more attendance. So that is the discussion is, we tweaked on the board calendar, we added some additional kind of note columns, the potential celebrations, right? So starting to think about when we celebrate things. Not that I don't love a 5.5 hour meeting, I do. Not love a 5.5 hour meeting.
Celebrations are not that long.
We can get a little bit more thoughtful on when we celebrate, and spread those celebrations out a little bit more in the year where it makes sense, so that we're celebrating a little bit more often. Yeah, what personnel actions happen, right? Tonight we are approving a bunch of contracts. That's a very standard thing to do in the May meeting, so knowing that, like, hey, the May meeting is when we typically approve administrative contracts. So, thoughts?
I just got to say, I love seeing this information this way.
Yeah. This is super helpful. I don't have any complaints, just appreciation.
Yep.
My question is not a complaint or anything. So I love having this, so we have something to look at. But I'll say what my thoughts are for the school board meeting. I just like it here with the numbers that we have for our school board meetings. But now that we can look at this, is there any opportunity? I too love having our committee meetings right before. I think it is successful, but having some committee meetings in our buildings, in different buildings. So I love having these dates. I don't know if there's any room for that. With some of these meetings, I don't want to make it more haphazard either. I just want to kind of go through the exercise of, I think that's where we have our communities in our buildings, and it's a little bit open anyway. Committee meetings are not so structured, but we are, can have it in our different schools and tours if we have that. We can take an opportunity to say, okay, is there any place we can have at least the committee meeting? That's
tied in with like events, school events, like we did.
I think we talked about that last time. Like,
I think it takes a little bit more.
Yeah, like no, I think what we talked about is like we'll keep these as like our main ones, but we can always add like a couple connected to events. I think that's a great idea.
It's probably easier to do.
Yeah, but I think we keep these ones.
There are some there's more work for us to do within a committee. Can we take that? So I do like that idea of keeping this, and we have this and it's set. But to get in our buildings a little bit more, if there are other committees or town halls or whatever, we combine them with events and get into our buildings that way.
So could we maybe add in the other column, would it make sense to add large district events?
I was just thinking that.
In that column, like STEM night, literacy night, fine arts night, math night.
Okay.
And I think Edith is thinking about this for next year. Her and the PR team are working through
this kind of thing.
What might make sense, and starting to think about like because we had a lot of success on STEM night in particular, which is really wonderful. Yeah.
But even, like, we don't even have to touch Fine Arts Night. I know that's a busy day by itself, but like for our, we've had some, like, reading nights. Or, like,
Yeah.
bingo
Literacy
nights,
night, math
literacy
night.
Yeah, so they're not huge
Yeah.
events by themselves. They're nice events that the community likes, but if we had something to go along with it.
Yeah. And I think there's also the potential, and this has come up multiple times in the past, of, you know, tying that in also with our NHS students as a potential for earning some service hours to serve as some babysitters. Or no, not babysitters, but entertainers of younger children. So getting these dates, and that's also a good, right, PTO meetings. There's typically NHS students at many of the PTO, at least the elementary PTO meetings.
So, but for this is, I don't have any complaints or.
Okay, and so
Any more
is it fair to assume that where you guys have committee meetings in the column, that committee meeting right now is scheduled on the same date as the board meeting?
Correct.
Cool.
Yes.
So we should probably,
So we can go through and adjust it. Edith and I kind of went through and marked off, like, policy always comes out about October.
Yeah.
So it might not end up in October, but that's when it comes out. Her PR meetings based on your conversations with her. In these past couple meetings, she added those today. And then the finance and facility. And we did share this with Ron, so that it's subject to change based on, you know, Ron might have a different idea when he wants to hold finance meetings, but we can guess there's probably one in November around the levy.
yeah. Yeah, and there's typically 1 and 2 this time of year.
And like I just
around the
added
budget
TIF
also.
to May, so we'll have it on there for next year, so it comes back up.
Nice.
Can I mention, I think I can, okay, sorry. Something just to put on your tickler, Shannon.
Yes.
I heard at my, we were at the IASBO conference last week, and I heard that the ISB is going to change, or whoever changes, the state's going to change the due date of the audits.
Oh, okay.
That's a possibility. I heard that from an auditor who knows his stuff. So
Okay.
it might be like they're pushing it into like January, February,
Okay.
something like that.
Good to know.
Keep an eye out for it.
The other thing to think about, so we do have a couple of these set at South right now, which are days that we know right now this room is not available. Just a reminder, Village Hall, we utilize Village Hall as a courtesy. The village allows us to use it. They don't pay us, or we don't pay them to rent this space. And so if they were to get something going on, then we have to move to South. Whenever we are not at Village Hall, we are unable to live stream. Not to say that we can't potentially still record, okay? But the ability to live stream is something that exists in this room. So whenever, that is something we have to think about if we take any meetings on the road, which I do think that we should do, is get some meetings on the road, right? That ability doesn't exist to live stream.
Can I understand a little better why we don't have the ability to I mean, it's not because the only place in Westmont from which one can live stream is this building. What's the limiting criteria here?
I believe it's the tech that we don't have. But
Hold on.
Let me finish.
People live stream all the time from everywhere on the planet. So it's not the tech. There are 15-year-olds live streaming right now.
Well,
So
I'm
it's
going
not
to
the
push
tech.
back at you and say it is, because they're not doing what a 15-year-old is doing. There is a person assigned to this that has a job to do, and I'm not going to put that down, but there are different things that are happening with audio, with the cameras and how it switches, and with our feed of of what we're doing. So
So
I
you're
know
saying
it's
we
much
can't
more than
live
I can
stream the
say.
way we live stream this meeting,
way.
but we might have to make adaptations. But to say we can't live stream doesn't seem accurate to me. What it seems like is we can't live stream the same way we live stream now.
There's an additional expense, I think, because you have to hire, I mean, as was just put out there. So yes, you're correct. Technically, you could do it. It's more convenient here, let's say that, and with the village, we can use it without any cost to the district. we have live streamed from South, have we not?
No.
No.
I
So-
think it's the
The South
band
meetings
strip
have
that
always
you're
been
using too.
recorded, but not live.
It's not
Recorded but
just
not
setting
live
up
streamed. You could have someone standing there with a phone live streaming it, I guess.
Well,
But
I'm
it's the, I think it's the bandwidth you're using. We're not using one, like, Meets camera. But I'm just saying that we have, what we've done before, the caveat is we've recorded and then downloaded right away. But that was our caveat before with doing that. But
The
So at
village
the very
posts
least,
some.
we can do that.
The village posts some, but if the village records our meetings, which they come out, they cannot live stream it, but they just come and record it. If they're doing our
As it lives
meeting.
today, which essentially is through the village. So we stream and we record our meetings through the village AV. So it's not something that we do.
there's something I'm clearly not understanding. Like you said, you could have someone in the back of the room with a phone webcam. You could have, you could do it. It wouldn't be as good as the live stream feed from here, but you could do it. So what is it that I'm missing?
You're not, it'd be an additional expense. You'd have to hire somebody to set up the equipment, actually do the camera work, et cetera.
And I think it's a channel that we use. I'm saying it's much more than someone holding up a phone. Wait, I think we're belittling it in a
Is
way.
it?
Okay, but since
so-
no
but
one in this room seems to be able to know, can't we find out?
Is it worth exploring the option? Let me ask this. How does the board feel about taking the meetings on the road and getting into having more meetings
What I said
on location?
was, I'm not anxious to do that, because I think a statement was made like, oh, let people understand, and see the meetings from that standpoint. But I was like, as our numbers go, we're the only people really experiencing a board meeting, and that the committees where we have more people attending and involved and engaged, that's what it needs to be. And I don't think we have, we don't have that much engagement with our board meetings. Yeah. So that's not where the meat is. I think we want attendance where we have higher attendance, and that's where we need to be on the road. So not much interest from me for my board meetings.
Committee meetings.
But it's the committee meetings where we have more people
Yeah, and
involved.
I'm not sure, like,
And I'm one of them.
I don't know. I don't feel like there's as much of a, like, the committee, come to the committee meetings, like, that's why we're attaching them to events and other things. And we can continue to brainstorm when to do committee meetings based on what the need is for that continued work and the specific committee. Is an event, like a school event, the best place to do that, or is there some other event that we should connect it to? I think we need to just wait. I'm not sure that we certainly don't need to solve the live stream issue tonight. I think it's definitely worth asking some questions. I think if we were going to hold a board meeting somewhere else, we would have to find a way for it to be available. But committee meetings, I feel a little bit less pressure to. I think
We don't
Wait,
record.
Right, and that's the point too, with our committee meetings are not live streamed.
Right.
Or
So-
recorded anyway.
So for me, then it's like we don't really need to even really.
The
Even when
solution
we're
is
here, we're
to
not live
decouple
streaming our
Right.
committee
The
meetings.
committee meetings from the board meetings.
Right.
Which is fair. However, we also agreed within the last half an hour that coupling our committee meetings with our board meetings has been
Has worked
successful.
well.
It is for
This
like
is-
the main
yeah.
one, and then if we need to do more and invite more people because we want to hear more, we want more engagement on a particular topic, whether that's finance and facilities or PR.
Yeah, maybe
It has
just
been-
schedule one committee meeting,
Oh, bro.
Separate.
like for each category on the road.
And I
We
think
don't need
so-
to worry about recording it because we don't record them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the other
to them.
success we had though with coupling our committee meetings that we're weighing right now, our attendance as a board member. So instead of having all these dates across
Sure.
the board, can I come? I can, and two
Yeah.
board members can come. We've had more success with board members attending committee meetings because it's already coupled with the date that like Tuesdays is kind of, even the Tuesdays that we don't meet, I'm thinking about the board meetings, like, am I supposed to be at a board meeting? It's a Tuesday night. So that coupled with it made it easier and made my attendance, as a whole, made board members' attendance better too. So we're weighing that too, like we have that with scheduling, we can make dates, and then, taking that away, having it on the move, or having it somewhere and then rushing over to the village.
Well, that's why I think we keep these sort of like foundational ones connected so that all of us can be a little more present for these main ones, and then those on the road ones are just separate committee meetings to do work.
You've been like
No, no, no. Even if we have a remote committee meeting and then we drive here, as long as you don't get caught by the train, you can make it here in 10, 15 minutes.
I wonder if it is worth exploring and having a backup option, because we don't have a backup option and that currently stops us from doing things, is just having a backup option so that when we have that night that we've got a committee meeting and we have an agenda that's got 10 items on it and we just need to have a quick board meeting, you know, like we can have it at that location and we can record it and we can post it later. And we don't have to worry about, you know, we can go off into the principal's office and have the board, you know, it doesn't have to, if it's like, because of the time factor, because the other piece that we've been really working on the last couple of years is decreasing the number of days, right? We've gotten down to 17 board meetings. I think that we can get even less with continued focus on it. I just heard Elmhurst is skipping July entirely.
Those crazy people.
Skipping July, flat out, right? So that piece of it, so having that backup option, so when we have a night like, I'm just gonna keep going to STEM because it's the night, it's the one that's the, right? So we have a night like STEM night where it's like, we've got a committee meeting, we wanna do it at the high school, and we have a super light board agenda that we also, and we all wanna go to STEM night, right? We can hop over into the Consumer X space, have our board meeting, and record it without needing to bring all of the stuff, or all the village stuff into it, record it, be able to post it later, so that we are able to still record it and have a backup that's not reliant on someone else. Just, not that the village has been wildly supportive and wildly helpful in all of these ways. However, us having a backup so that we're able to do it, and that's not the reason for us not to do that, might be.
And Carlos, I'm just putting it out there that I think it's more involved. I know I can't give you those specifics, but I know there have been complaints years before even we came here that the reliability of seeing our meetings and seeing them on time. So having them live in a feed that's reliable and not cut short has been something that the community asked for. This channel, whatever's going on in this building is done more than like say what a 15-year-old could do or what they do with the phone. That is a reliable source. And then the next complaint that I've heard, even as community members, when we do record it, we have to be better. We can always improve. But getting that out in a quicker, succinct way, because people complain, I didn't see what happened at the board meeting. The people that are engaged, sometimes I'm like, people watch us, but they do. So I think it's just getting that and figuring out those ways.
So I'm hearing explore a backup option. Let's get some answers.
I will ask Nadine tomorrow.
And maybe the PR team, maybe it's something a high school club could help with, maybe. I know that the PR team is really actively trying to engage the clubs at the high school and the junior high and at the elementaries and in communication. I don't think it's something we need an immediate answer on, but that's what I'm hearing. What do you?
And then the last part is like if there are any other committee meetings, or at least on locations, with the PR team is working on that we can have attached to other events.
So on this document in particular, do you guys want this? Feels like this is going to end up to be a little bit more of a living document.
Yes.
Yes.
It certainly will be.
Do you want it like pushed to us board members as it's updated? Would you like updates in our board meetings? Would you like it posted on our board meeting page on the website? What would?
As updated and posted? Do we need to?
Yeah, as updated. I mean, we have a Google Drive, right?
Yeah.
Put it on the Google Drive, send everyone a link.
Yeah.
When you update it, say, hey, it's been updated.
Yeah.
You mean just like for us, and then we'll advertise it more for the larger community, right?
Well, I think that's the two questions. There's the, how do we know that it's been updated? If like, as Edith and the PR team is like, this makes, right? This makes sense, right? That's a Google Drive situation. And then the question is, what's currently on our on the board website is what we approved 2 meetings ago, which was just these are our meetings, these are the locations, and kind of nothing else.
And I do think that's a PR.
That's a different.
That's PR to work on, like, communicating it to the public.
So not putting this on there as well.
No, I think this is for us and our.
I think, yeah, that seems like a lot to me, and I think that maybe if we do this for a whole year and we get super comfortable, and then we say, oh, we don't have to make changes every week to it, and, you know, let's see how this goes, let's do a lap around the sun first, and then.
I do love that new pop-up thing on the website, though, like.
The pop-up message?
Yeah.
I love it.
Should be doing a lot more of that.
Yeah, we could use that feature more often.
Next committee meeting, next board meeting, see the agenda here.
I literally
do
went
want
to the
say
website to
also
look for that
thank you for
exact thing.
posting. I've been getting emails about both of these last 2 committee meetings with the agendas
Yes.
posted on.
Yes.
I wanna thank you guys for
Agreed.
doing that work.
Yeah.
That is.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, any other things on the board meeting topic calendar? Cool. Thank you guys for the work on this, and we'll continue to explore it. Board portal software. So Board Docs is doubling in price?
Doubling in price, so I'll kind of give a brief rundown. We currently use Board Docs. It's migrating over to Diligent. They called me like a month ago. It'll happen in September. They'll do all the migration piece to Diligent for us. It'll still be a process. Our means will stay the same. It is doubling in price for the basics. Their quote is in here and how much all the upgrades cost. I have a meeting on Thursday to see Board Book, which a lot of districts use. You can find it randomly if you want to see an example, and to see how their program works with IASB pricing, which we're a member of. It would be, I think it was $4,000, and I put their proposal in here. Seems like it's a few more features. The one that caught my eye is we wanted to convert to Press Plus, which is better for our admin in regards to exhibits and administrative procedures. When I inquired about it with Board Docs Diligent, they said, oh, we have something like that, which kind of made me hesitant. It looks like Board Book has it, but I'm waiting to see the webinar on Thursday. So yeah, it's going from like 2,500 to 5,000. So I'm thinking if we're already gonna have to migrate and make a change, why not look into something else?
Yes.
But that's up to you guys to decide. I put both quotes in here. I'll keep pursuing it, but it would just be a matter of when we want to approve it, because then our other contract ends in September, so we need to make a decision.
So I just want to
Are there any
clarify.
other options, or are these just
I
pretty
think
much it?
these are the only 2 I could really find that are popular, and then when this one said it worked with IASB, that kind of jumped out at
I
me.
think Board
because-
Book is a little more
works with
user
IASB.
friendly.
Board Book works with
I use
IASB,
Board Book,
or
yeah.
Board Book has IASB pricing. I'm hoping to find out more of what that means on
Yeah.
Thursday. in
And
my
so
webinar.
Diligent is what Board Docs is moving to.
Becoming.
Okay. I had it the other way, because probably Board Book looks.
I use Board Book with SACID. So Jack has it with SACID. Have you used Board Book also?
I've just seen it on other districts.
Yeah,
I like
so it is a little bit different. It's a little bit. It was like a little confusingly interactive when I first got on it, but once you kind of, because you have like a bunch of different ways that you can like see things on there, but once you kind of get over that, so it sounds like we're gonna have to learn a new software anyway. Either way, and taking a look at okay, what do you guys want? What do you guys want to do
Is
here?
it something you want me to continue pursuing, I guess is what I'm asking you, or like how far do you want me to go down this rabbit
So
hole of
pursuing
looking
means
into it?
you're looking to see how we can put our things together with the policy.
And Shannon,
You're
is
looking more into the Board Book part to see
the
if that, or both, I
4,000
guess, but.
$4,000 was before you figured out the IASB potential, like discount or whatever that means.
No, that is like, when I asked for a price, they
With
said
the
IASB is $4,000. That's
Got it,
basically
okay.
what his email was.
Yeah.
What happens to our
Existing?
history?
That's my question
That's the-
for Thursday.
That's the migration, right? That's the,
Wonderful.
That is one of my questions for Thursday, like
Okay.
what happens to our existing for the public to see past documents.
I'll get back to you. Okay.
Are you saying you think that's the migration?
that's what it typically is in these scenarios. You migrate history, right? But maybe
what
not.
happened- yeah.
Maybe not.
What happens when if we switch I'm gonna assume the migration is.
I don't know.
Little bit more
My mind
challenging.
tells me that Board Book knows that diligent is the new thing. They know that, they know, and they know that migration is going to be an issue.
So,
I'm almost sure of it.
so you can see under here, I put the proposals from both, so you can look at them and see what differences. It looks like Board Book might offer a little bit more. Board Docs, everything is at upcharge.
The reality is you guys are the ones that use it much more than we do, right? We use it obviously for our meetings, but you guys are in it very regularly, building the meetings, so.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, your preference here weighs heavily.
Okay, I'll get back to you after next week.
Okie dokie, student fees.
We are recommending no increase in student fees.
Sounds good.
Done.
Sounds good to me.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Okay, moving into our action items portion of the evening. We don't have the architect one, right?
We do not have the architect, but we do have the construction manager.
Okay. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the contract with Nicholas and Associates Construction Manager as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Donio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We are gonna skip to, we don't have the contract with the architect ready, so that will be, we're tabling it until the next meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the student fees for fiscal year 2026 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity? Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the 2025-2026 administrator contracts for the following administrators: Tiffany Teresi, Adam Kordelewski, and Sam Sinovich.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the multi-year contracts for the following administrators: Carla Braun, Edith Corrington, Mike Lipinski, and Amy Quattrone.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the proposed amendments to the DWC intergovernmental agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity? Sorry, oh my gosh. Ms. Conover?
Yes.
You're trying to cross her off ahead of me.
Okay. Approval of the SACID lease agreement. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the lease agreement between SACID and Community Unit School District 201 for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
DWC staff one.
And finally, the chair will entertain a motion to authorize and direct the treasurer to pay any bills received in May 2025 that have been budgeted for the 2025 fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Ms. Security?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes. And then, just as a point of clarification, even though we're not changing student fees, we don't vote on it staying that way?
Approving them? Yeah.
We approved them.
They're listed in
I
there.
thought we didn't, okay. I thought we skipped over, okay.
They're an oversight committee for SACID.
Even though we're not changing them, we're voting that that list is our student fees.
I thought we skipped, okay. I'm sorry.
Did we read that one?
Yeah, that was after the architect.
I think maybe we just went
Yeah.
out of order.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
I'm
Okay.
reading off paper. My paper stuff could be in different order. It could be.
Let me see.
Student fees was right after architect.
Yeah, we skipped
Yeah.
architect.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Woo,
Go
okay.
out of order.
Moving right along, superintendent's report.
So we have the graduations already next week. It's a very proud moment. And hope to celebrate all those students who've worked so hard and the teachers and staff and parents and community that supported them. Prom went off extremely well. Our kids were so well behaved. We're very proud of them and grateful to all the people who organized the prom for our students. We can't take that for granted. Our kids in this district, while not perfect, are unbelievably well behaved, and that means a lot to us. On Monday the 19th, we have the Advanced Placement Conference that we're hosting for the 10th time. All of the proceeds from that go to support our district. There's no cost to our district for this event. About 65 high schools from around the region pay money to come and learn together, and we get great staff development, and we have the state superintendent, Tony Sanders, who's the keynote speaker this year. We have 20 breakout sessions. It's really a magnificent event. There's going to be close to 500 people in attendance, and it's a great way for our teachers to learn at no cost to the district. And as I say, all of the proceeds go back to our students and teachers at no cost to the district.
And I'm sorry, our staff gets professional development hours, right?
Our staff gets professional development. They get to connect with teachers from all around the region. We bring in about 20 breakout session guest speakers, all paid for by other school districts who come to this event. And it's a beautiful event for learning and to promote our district and strengthen our district and our teachers. I'm really excited. In June, I hope everybody really will pay attention. We'll have our quality review. The early data is in on student performance, and it's outstanding. We couldn't be prouder of the hard work of our admin, our teachers, our support staff, and students. We had a spectacular year last year, and it looks like we are going to match that achievement and maybe surpass it.
Wonderful.
It's awesome.
Yes.
Board reports.
I think our concerts went off well also. All of our choir and band concerts.
8th grade dance this weekend? Friday, right?
Yeah.
Looking for volunteers, I think. You want to spend
So
an
if,
evening with some 8th graders.
You usually look at what usually happens is 6th, 7th grade parents chaperone, and then kind of see what's going to happen when their kids are. But any parent can chaperone our dance. I think it's quite interesting.
It's terrifying. Is it at the junior high?
It's at the junior high.
Miller had a great
Oh,
field
yes.
trip to the zoo
That was just today, wasn't it?
today. It was kindergarten, and I think
The
it
zoo
was
went to the
only, yeah.
There's also a picnic they did also, is that?
We ate lunch there. We spent the day.
Oh, you're talking about the picnics.
We did have a family
The
picnic.
kindergarten,
Yes,
first
we
grade
did
lunch
have
picnics
that. Yeah.
last week. Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff happening
Yeah.
at Miller. They had the kindergarten concert a couple weeks ago. Yeah. A lot of fun.
Field days coming up. Also volunteer opportunities there. Anything else? Okay. I'm gonna have to get a report from Ange on how we did.
Right.
Okay, second, do we have any public comment for the second portion of the evening?
Of course.
It's May Dana, not October Dana.
Public comment, Dana Hayjack.
This is a really quick one. I just wanted to make sure that we're recognizing some amazing staff members. Kelly Briddick was nominated and won Educator of the Year from Westmont Commerce. And Christy Parsetich was nominated for Educator of the Year for DuPage County, which is an amazing recognition. They were both recognized at events, and I just want to make sure that that was out there in the public. If you're not watching the district on social media, they've put it out on there, but if you're not following, follow, because all the fun things that we recognize our staff and our kids with, that's where you're going to find them. So congrats to Kelly and Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Co-teachers also.
Yes.
Two Educators of the Year that also happen to be co-teachers.
Going to hear.
So amazing. Okay, future meetings and events. We've
That's
got.
not accurate.
Huh?
That's,
Okay.
oh, no, it is. No, it's not. It didn't update. Went to.
You tell me where I read
Go
from.
right there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Future meetings and events. We've got our Westmont High School graduation, May 20th, 7 p.m. at the high school. The Westmont Junior High School graduation, May 22nd, 7 p.m., also at the high school. Last day of school, May 23rd. That is a PLC dismissal. Whew, it's here. And our next board meeting, CUSD 201, regular board meeting, June 17th, more than a month from now, 6:30 p.m. at Village Hall. Yep. Great.
The listening session is Monday the 19th, where we held an excellent meeting, I think, prior to the board meeting today. We really tried to do our best to solicit and listen to solutions, and we'd love to hear what path forward Monday at Manning at 6:30?
Yes. Awesome. We have no action for a second closed session, so we are not going into closed session. So the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Nope. Am I there? Yeah?
Yeah. You said, oh my gosh, and I was like, what did I do?
May 13th.
What did I skip? Very nervous. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the March 18th, 2020.
May 13th, that's what I was like.
May 13th. May. I just said I was nervous.
You can do
May
hard
13th,
things, Leah. You can do hard
2025,
things.
regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, okay.
Great job, Leah.